So what I suggest is that we go to our next topic, and now we start talking about, well, I can imagine our favorite topic, which is open technology. So I mean, that's what we get excited about. At least that's what I get excited about. So let's talk about open technologies, and which are crucial for innovation and so on. But let's first zoom a little bit in on the open source part of that, because like we said earlier, open source has been a driver of innovation in our industry. And let me first share with you Koen Vermeulen's vision of Orange on this topic.
So open source is, first of all, our default choice.
Mm-hmm.
The others are possible, but not excluding it. Economically, it's okay, and we don't change it. But open source is key. Why is it key? To me, is that if you buy, and we all had it, and I won't give names for the sake of not getting enemies, but we all lived it, where you bought a package, as we used to call it, the software package. You customized it to that.
Yep.
Then suddenly your supplier, who was your great friend 5 years ago,
mm-hmm.
got bought by a competitor, who decided to kill your lovely baby. So then you're stuck. That's maybe the most dramatic scenario, but also the other scenarios where you have you're at a certain point, if you invested in optimizing a certain process, it's good enough. It's not your priority anymore.
Yep.
You have other priorities. You have limited means. Nobody have unlimited means.
Yep.
But if you're forced, because your thing, which is good enough or does what it does, and you don't have additional needs, continues to evolve, get out of maintenance, you're forced to do upgrades. Upgrades which are often quite expensive, especially if they're integrated in a larger ecosystem. And that brings a whole set of costs and dependence on external factors that you don't need. Also, and open source is not for free. It's not.
Very successful companies around it, like Red Hat and others.
Indeed, companies who are, and Red Hat, I think they're the inventor of the open source model, where initially nobody believed how is it possible to make money of something which is for free. Well, they didn't do too bad. But I think it's a good example that it's true. It doesn't come for free from one hand, that you have services around it, which are okay, but also that you have to contribute.
Okay, so that's the vision on open source from Orange. Angela, Glo, Honoré, you want to comment on that?
Yeah,
I'm happy to comment here. Sorry, Angela.
Of course I want to comment on
I'm happy
that.
just to comment here. Yeah, just to say that we see a lot of this too. So there's safety in staying with what we know, and this whole open source thing, we get a lot of questions about this. What are others doing, and how have you implemented, and what open source technologies have you guys seen others adopting, and what use cases are they able to go deploy? So this is a really, really huge debate out there, and we're seeing open source being more and more embraced. We're excited about our partnership also with Red Hat, right, and OpenShift and everything that's going on there. So this is definitely something that we're getting asked a lot about. So I'm really curious to hear what everybody here has to say as well. Great question.
I mean, I think from our perspective, and in the context of service platforms, we look at what is the kind of problem that we're trying to solve, what is the solution that we need to put in place, and if someone has solved that problem before and it's something that we can buy off the shelf and not need to customize, then that's something that we would look at. But we're also very open to open source, and we do use it in different areas, and we do contribute back into obviously the open source community. So I would say it's a combination. It's not one or the other. It depends on what we're trying to do and whether that has been done and is something that is whether it's more logical and cost effective for us to take that, or whether we should build it ourselves. And where we are doing things that are new that people haven't done before, then that's something that we are doing through open source. So it's a combination.
I think one of the key elements of open source is the immense community of people who contribute to open source. And we've talked a lot about open innovation, and fostering an environment where ideas are brought forward. And there's no better example of that than the open source community. You know, there are millions of great minds and developers out there contributing to the open source software development. And, you know, again, it was mentioned already that, you know, Red Hat is basically, you know, built a business around that open source community and that open source contribution. We have a mantra, and it's basically this: you develop once, you can deploy it anywhere and everywhere, and you can innovate often and always and forever. And it points to, I think, the comment that Charles made and comment that Luke made about you only need to develop it once. If somebody's already developed it, why would you develop it again, right? So if you have access to something that's already been developed, you want to leverage and have access to that. So develop it once, and then innovate often and always and forever, and deploy it anywhere and everywhere. And it's really the beauty of it. There's also an opportunity to take that and customize it so that our customers and our partners can add their value differentiation to that, you know, basic open source package of software. And it's really pretty amazing. I've, you know, of course, now that I'm at Red Hat, I've taken it upon myself to really understand this open source community and the innovation and the ideas that come out of it. And it's immense. I mean, I have yet to even explore all of the great innovations that have come from the open source community beyond what just Red Hat is doing for our customers and our partners. It's a pretty amazing concept and a pretty amazing effort on the behalf of, you know, millions of great developers all around the world.
What's your view on this, Charles? Are you a fan, or are you more in a package man? What's your vision?
No, I'm a fan. I'm just not experimenting yet. You know, I think there's merits in it, but I'm not at the implementation stage. I think I'm still the commercial of the shelf packages guy in terms of the stability of the environment. But I think going forward is something to really ponder on and look at how much one can benefit with for the organization.
Okay, good.